So sitting down with Malik Malo. Again, you're listening to Universal Groove. And
Yeah.
I want to talk about, I've been seeing just again a lot of artists that are doing covers, and that's all really what they're doing. But looking into your catalog I found you on Spotify, and looking into that catalog, it looks like there was a really R&B is the big one, right? That's like the bread and butter. And how how have I guess what's your ultimate goal with doing the covers and now with the R&B? Is that something that you want to just stick with the covers, or you maybe look into that oldie sound, or are we going back to the R&B at one point?
Yeah. So the oldies are in addition to my R&B style. So it's like just another avenue that's opened up for me. So I'm gonna be doing both, man. I'm gonna be doing continuing to do oldies. Like I love doing oldies, so that'll always be continuing. And then R&B, that'll always be there too, you know. So I'm gonna be doing both, man. I'm gonna be doing both.
Any artists that you're looking forward to maybe working with on the R&B side? I know you had like the Malik and Friends on there, which is really cool. Like I like the way that you guys had that set up, and where they kind of like giving you a call. They're like, I'm landing right now. I'll meet up with you. That was pretty cool. Like on the artists that you're working with. Are you trying to do something again like that with the multiple artists coming in and joining you?
That was a pretty on the whim exclusive little idea. I don't know that I'll be doing another one of those anytime soon.
Hmm.
But those relationships are definitely there. Those are all pioneers and artists that I was inspired by making my way as the new guy in the industry. So there could definitely be another project similar to that, but right now it's more just focused on the oldies music and putting out solo stuff right now. But collabing with artists, man, that's always going to be right there for sure.
Yeah, and speaking with collaboration, so your backing band is the Illusions, is that correct? When you do these oldie covers?
Well, they're not my backing band. I wouldn't say that. I have done shows with them.
Mhm.
And Tony and I, we do communicate, when we can be playing together. But yeah, I wouldn't say we're like exclusive with each other. But he's a great guy. The band's really cool. And anytime we do get to perform, it's definitely a blessing. But yeah, that's a band I definitely work with, and I would love to continue to work with for sure.
And so modern soul is again, it's kind of have that oldie feel. Or is that kind of how are you channeling some of your new stuff towards that? Just the modern soul, like your own personal music?
Yeah. So like original stuff, a lot of that is written in the modern R&B, traditional R&B form. But at the same time, I'm definitely gonna plan on doing some original songs, in the oldie style as well. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, for sure. Cause like you said, the oldies scene, man, I think it's making a comeback, and personally, like I said earlier, I just love the way you can set the feeling off of making that listener really feel what you're singing or what you're saying through oldies. So, you
Yeah,
know, it's definitely a form that I want to stick with, and we'll definitely do original style songs too as well.
that's awesome. Now, most artists, they start off in the club, they're maybe singing from their bedroom or the shower, like myself. And and now your first show, or one of maybe your first shows at the Art LeBeau show. And how did that come about?
Man, that was another, just stars aligning, that was back in, man, it's crazy that I'm even
Hmm.
saying this, but it was 2015, man.
Wow.
Yeah, that was 5 years ago, bro. And that was one of my first shows, but it was like one of my biggest shows too that I got to be a part of. So the reason I got caught up in that is because I had written this song called "I Want That Old Thing Back" with David Salas, and when it got before it even got put out, Baby Bash came by the studio
Hmm.
and got to hear the record, and his response was, he really loved it so much that he wanted it to be his song. So he ended up writing a verse to it, and became a part of that song. And from the time of when we made it to the Art LeBeau show coming up, it was just worked out where he invited me to perform that song on him with his set at the Art LeBeau show. And yeah, that was a surreal experience, man. It was in front of like 5,000 people, man. It was a crazy crowd. I remember going out on stage, and I'm very green, I'm very new, you know, being on stage, and then even recording music and being out there, man. I was like, wow, it looked like outer space with all the lights and like all the people holding up phones and stuff. And it was definitely a moment for sure in my career that I'll always cherish, because it was like the first.
Yeah. And what was it like driving there, man? Were you just like super nervous? What kind of reactive? What kind of a performer are you? We barfing in the back? We dry heaving? What do we what kind of
No,
what is that feeling? Driving to the place and you're about to come on. What feeling is going through your body right there?
man, driving to the place, I was with my uncle, and he was driving me to, I think it was in San Bernardino at the San Manuel Amphitheater, and that was in San Bernardino. And we were living in I was staying in Northridge at the time, so it was about like an hour and a half drive. And I was nervous as heck, man. I was definitely nervous because like I said, I was very green, very few performances on stage under my belt. But at the same time, through sports and like just that competitive spirit, I was also excited and ready to step up to the plate, and hopefully knock it out the park. But definitely nervous, man. And then especially when I saw the crowd, before I went out there, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
But at some point, I just kind of embraced it, man, and just went out there and went blank and just let the emotions take over. I stopped thinking and just started singing.
Yeah. And now afterwards, after you get off stage, and a couple questions here for that. Like, so getting off
Sure.
stage, being with your family, what is that like? I mean, that's like, Art LeBeau, you're in that, the soul R&B oldie scene. I mean, that's the top, right? I mean, it doesn't get any bigger than that. I mean, I think for any artist that's in
That's
R&B or soul, I mean, the Art LeBeau show, that's like the Woodstock for any rock band, you know what I mean? So, what was it like after you get off the stage? Or what was your family's reaction, friends, what was their reaction to it?
Yeah, it was all smiles, man. It was all smiles, and you bringing up these questions, it's like flashbacks, because I'm glad we're having this conversation, because I haven't sat back and thought about it for a long time. But I'll never forget, man. It was definitely a great moment. All smiles, hugs, being embraced. And even Frankie J was backstage, and he became a mentor even to this day. I could, we communicate, but he was one of the ones that even congratulated me right after, like, good job, man, and cheering me on and rooting for me. And as far as my family goes, like, my parents were in the crowd. They heard I was coming. They drove down from Bakersfield, and were there in support. And by the time I could even look at my phone, my mom was already posting videos on her Instagram of me on stage. So everybody was super proud, man. And it was definitely a reminder, just all in all, man, that I can do this. And I have a lot of support, behind my back, that are ready to root for me. So it was a very encouraging moment, man, overall.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can even imagine. I mean, I walking backstage and you're seeing some of the artists that you're rubbing elbows with these people, man. They've been in the business. Most of the artists that he has on that stage, they've been there, done that. They are not green, right? They got the fans. Was there anybody that you seen that you just like got like starstruck by backstage?
Um, I would have to say the first time I met Baby Bash and the first
Hmm.
time I met Frankie J, it was definitely like starstruck feeling, because I was, you know, in my teenage years, in high school and junior high, listening to their music and like singing along with their songs, and
Yeah.
going to little, teenage parties and dancing to, Baby I'm Back and Sugar Sugar and all of Baby Bash's hits and then Frankie J. So I was definitely starstruck when I met them, man, just because of what they did for me, as a youngin, and now here I am, being able to be backstage with them. Just feel blessed overall, man, and uh, I pay all my homage, to them because they came before me, and I try to soak as much game as I can with them, because they've had success, and it's just been a blessing to be able to be submerged in that world, man. It's just a blessing, man.
What's it all about? This crazy love. How did our two worlds entwine? How do I fit in to your life? How did you get into mine? I belong to someone else we know. Back when first we met, oh, we thought for fun. One night together might be nice. Oh, but fun turned into love for both of us. So now we pay forbidden lovers' price. Oh, 'cause love like ours is never ever free. You pay some agony for the ecstasy. Oh, love like ours is never ever free. You got to pay some agony for the ecstasy.